In Physics Society, we conduct various activities like seminar competition, poster competition, quizzes, lecture by eminent person on various physics topics. Due to expertise of Dr. Y.C. Kamala ma'am in physics education, it was decided to understand her views. I therefore invite Mansi to introduce today's chief guest.
Today's chief guest is Dr. Y.C. Kamala ma'am, Associate Professor of Physics and Principal at the National College, Bangalore. She completed her UG, PG and PhD from Bangalore University. She has a vast teaching experience of 33 years in the pre-university and undergraduate level. Her research interest includes interdisciplinary work on development of science and science education and physics education. Dr. Kamala ma'am has published many papers in journals and magazines of high repute. Many of her magazines articles are published in Kannada also. She has written many books and book chapters in English as well as Kannada. She was a research person at HPCSC Mumbai on many occasions and also academic resource person at 46th IPHO 2015 Mumbai. Was a member core academic group NGP examination. She has delivered science talks on current topics like LHC, dark matter, dark energy gravitational waves, All India Radio. Apart from the designing, fabrication and presentation of experiments at various levels at education is also her hobby. As a dean, director, convener, she has organized more than 50 conferences, seminars, workshops, rallies for a variety of themes. She has been awarded prizes for design, development and execution of experiments, posters at national conventions. Presently, she is heading as a Dean of Uday Bhanu Center for Higher Studies in Science and Joint Secretary of Bangalore Science Forum. Dr. Kamala Madam has been decorated with many awards and recognitions by the Kannada Sahitya Parishad, which is a Karnataka government body. We are really very lucky to have a multifaceted faculty like Dr. Y.C. Kamala Madam to deliver today's inaugural address. Therefore, on your behalf, I invite Dr. Kamala Madam to deliver her lecture.
Thank
Please,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, Manasi Dalvi, for a wonderful introduction. Okay, can I proceed now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure and privilege to be part of your program in this Sunday early morning. I was thinking at home, the college is so wonderful because the students are really wonderful because you are coming to program on Sunday morning. Sunday morning happens to be normally for the students, it's a kind of you want to get up a little late and you want to be free. But you are associated with a physics related program that shows your enthusiasm for the subject. At the outset, I thank MOHOTA College, management, principal, Mr. Jeevan, vice principal, head of the Department of Physics, and more so, Mr. Vijay Soman, for inviting me to deliver this lecture. So in my introduction, it was told, yes, I teach physics on one side, and I am a passionate science communicator on the other side. Why do we need science communication? Because in order to mobilize people, to reach people, and to make awareness about science, science needs to be communicated. Who can communicate? Everyone can communicate, especially science students. Every science student can be a science communicator. That means, did I choose this science communication as a career option by this conscious one? I don't think so. It so happened when I was pursuing my regular activities, science communication associated with me on its own, but I took it in a positive way. So in this connection, I did my PhD also on interdisciplinary subject, physics and history, thinking that I could reach some of my students. If I do my PhD in nuclear physics or any other hardcore subject, there are two things. When I did, it was in 2000, year 2000 is my completion. It was 96, 97. Interdisciplinary was unheard of. Paper publication after PhD was also not much there. So once you finish PhD, it is solely for the sake of promotion and other things. So I thought my work, I should be able to practice it further. So I chose a subject through which I can influence my students and also the people across whoever comes across me. So in this connection, I chose this particular topic, evolution of physics education in India. It is a very interesting subject. It is not just the evolution of physics education, it is evolution of science education as well. So physics education branches out later. Whatever we should be thankful now. For whom? For all the freedom fighters. There are freedom fighters for politics, there are freedom fighters for educational purposes, there are freedom fighters for science education purposes. We are enjoying fruits of all those efforts. As I proceed through my story, you will come across that. So, as she introduced, yes, I have written 4 books. One is about the Silicon Revolution, that is Digital Kranti, that is translated from English to Kannada. It is as good as a once for all freshly written book. It is very well acclaimed, published by Government of Karnataka. Recently, we published as an editor Karnataka Vignana Tantragnana Darshana. It is first of its kind in the country, wherein the contribution of science and technology from Karnataka to the world of science is documented. More than 60 authors have contributed. I am one of the editor for the book. The book is in the market. So there are 2-3 biographies and many more other articles and other things, as it was said in the my introduction. So now let us proceed with the today's topic. Evolution of physics education in India. Now we shall first look into evolution of general education system. Dear friends, let it be dialogue also. Okay. From where shall we start the story? Roughly. Anybody? I prefer to start from 1600. Why? Why 1600? 1600 is the year East India Company came to India. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Which is the next big step, major step that you can identify in the history? 1757. What is 1757? 1757, Battle of Plassey. It is through Battle of Plassey, East India Company representing British started administration in India. That is from Fort William, Calcutta. Next, it continued. The moment company took over the administration, indirect administration, they started looking into flora, fauna, all kind of resources that is present in our country. They started exporting it. Everything went as they planned it earlier. And later, it was in 1813 Charter of British East India Company. The charter said the introduction of proportion of knowledge of sciences among inhabitants of British territories in India was the responsibility of British East India Company. 1757 to 1863, almost half a decade, half a century. So it is after half a century, after our request and other things, the company charter said, what is the charter? Charter is an agreement between East India Company and the British monarch. The British Empire will give a set of rules and regulations to the East India Company. So in that it said, the East India Company should look into the science education in India. Did it happen? It did not happen. So in that it said 1 lakh rupees should be reserved for science education. Of course, 1 lakh was reserved. 1 lakh seems to be very, very less at that time and presently, but at that time 1 lakh for a country was a good amount of money. Then what happened to that 1 lakh? That 1 lakh was utilized by Asiatic Society, which was established in 1784. As I pass through, I will tell the story. So for the publications of Asiatic Society, that money was utilized. So we did not get any reforms from 1813 onwards. So looking at this situation, Raja Ram Mohan Rai said, we need science education in India. Okay? He protests and he writes a letter for Lord Amherst requesting, see, few Sanskrit colleges were started by the British government, the East India Company. Raja Ram Mohan Rai says, we are learning Sanskrit from ages, we know how to learn Sanskrit, but I want English education, especially science education. You may wonder why Raja Ram Mohan Rai was so fierce. If you see the history, global history of science, after 1800 onwards, the science was a buzzword in the West. Royal Society was started in 1660s. British Association of Advancement of Science was started in London 1660s. Newton was there already, and the people realized the importance of science. Not only that, universities were established where the science was practiced in a systematic way. So all that was happening in the West, it is because of the power of the science, they could establish their power on various countries across the globe. It was demonstrated. Okay? And that was also the time where industrial revolution was about to set in. It was going on. So we here in India, we did not have a modern education university, a university which can give modern education on par with the West. Should we be on par with the West? It is not the question of West or the East. We should be on par with the knowledge system that is developing across the world, which we were not at 1820s. So Raja Ram Mohan Rai demanded for the science education. And then next important step is 1835, Macaulay came. What Macaulay did was, see, when Raja Ram Mohan Rai wrote the letter, it was misinterpreted in the government, stating the letter is written by a single person, so we cannot consider this letter as a representation of the people's views, so we cannot take his letter into consideration. When Macaulay came, Macaulay said, see, the natives are asking for English education. He understood that in a different context. Macaulay knew everything. He understood that in a different context, and he said, let us start basic English education. We were asking for the science education, but he said we will start English education, through which we all know many schools and colleges were started across the country. And then in 1845, I am focusing on the science education, so I am missing so many interesting informations actually. In 1845, a person called Ram Gopal Ghosh demands for establishment of universities in India at the Council of Education in Asiatic Society. Asiatic Society was a well-known organization. It was established in 1784 by William Jones. Amateur scientists were discussing and exchanging information there. Whatever the decisions taken in the Asiatic Society were given as a enlightenment or the information to the East India Company, stating these are all the resources we have, flora, fauna, or other metallic resources and other things. So the decisions made in the Asiatic Society had a great role in the government. So the people realized that we must go through this. So Ram Gopal Ghosh demands for establishment of universities in India at Council of Education. Before that, see, even though it was started in 1784, Indians were not allowed to Asiatic Society. Only in 1829 we were allowed. After that, few people, only 3 people joined, Ram Gopal Ghosh, Ram Komal Sen and others, and they started working for education, higher education in India. So based on recommendations of the Woods Dispatch and Ram Gopal Ghosh, the request and other things, 3 universities were established in India at Bombay, Calcutta and Chennai. Okay? 3 universities were established at Bombay, Calcutta and Chennai. It is not Delhi. Next. So we know about Wood's dispatch. I am not going to elaborate on that. The Wood's dispatch was one of the instrumental thing. Ram Gopal Ghosh's pressure is another instrument. So these two things were supported by earlier Rajaram Mohan Roy's initial discussions. So with all this, 3 universities in Bombay, Chennai and Calcutta was established in the company. Okay. Now, most of the courses in these universities were dominated by arts subject and engineering and also medical subjects, along with arts, engineering and medicine. You may wonder why. Because the British military was, a large military was present in India. For the military, engineering knowledge was required. To look after the military, doctors were required, and there was a lot of among the people there was a lot of misunderstanding, and there was lawyers and courts were there. So looking into this, we had only engineering colleges, medical colleges, law colleges, along with BA and MA. Science was one of the subject in BA and MA. Even to join for the science, one has to write FA examination. If you see earlier books, you will see the FA is the preliminary course. Later on, you will get admitted to undergraduate course in this. So to start with, these were similar to affiliated colleges, similar to. Later on, they developed as full-fledged universities. So this was going on one phase. Another important thing happened in 1876. Mahendralal Sircar, he was a homeopathic doctor. He established Indian Association for Cultivation of Sciences. In the history of science in India, this is a landmark event, because Mahendralal Sircar, even though he was a homeopathic doctor, he realized without doing science, the country cannot develop. We cannot get freedom. This is another representation for the freedom. So Mahendralal Sircar, with the help of public, he gets donation from general public, and he also donates his own money. All that he has earned, he donated for Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. It is for the same institution Raman enters as a scientist later. So this is one landmark event. In 1899, okay, BSc and DSc courses are introduced in Calcutta University. That is another important event in the history of science in India. See, we did not have BSc, and that is a focused course for science. So it was in 1899, again Mahendralal Sircar, Ashutosh Mukherjee and all those people, they realized we must have courses focused for science. So they started BSc first time in 1899 in Calcutta University. The most important next step was 1904, where University Act made provision to start MSc at universities. We did not have a MSc course. Okay? So 1904 University Act is one of the most important university acts in India. It not only made provision for MSc, it also made provisions for enhancement in the number of natives to the Senate. Earlier, it was all Britishers, and most of them were as nominated by the East India Company or the British government. By 1900, it was directly from British government. 1857 is again an important thing for the three things. 3 universities established, first war of independence, and the administration was transferred from East India Company to British government directly. So now, in this 1904 University Act, we had provision for MSc, and we also had many people joining university in the Senate. Senate and Academic Council are the decision-making bodies. Therefore, having more people, that too natives, in that committee helps in making good decisions for the country. So now, with this, in 1916, by the strong efforts of Ashutosh Mukherjee, University Science College was started at Calcutta. It is also called as the Science College. Presently, it is called Raza Bazar Science College. It is in J.C. Bose Road. So that was started in 1916. Ashutosh Mukherjee was the Vice Chancellor in 1906. He was invited by Lord Curzon to take up Vice Chancellor post. Who was Ashutosh Mukherjee? Ashutosh Mukherjee was a lawyer, leading lawyer. Not only lawyer, he was a mathematician. So Ashutosh Mukherjee, a lawyer and a mathematician, became Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University on invitation of Lord Curzon. He was a visionary. He had thoughts for the country. The moment he entered into the university, he started utilizing the 1904 Act, that is the provision to start universities. He started consolidating. He was looking up for the people. To start a university, you need money. So there was few people joined, Palit, Raspberry Ghosh, and many more who donated generously. The story will come up a little later. So with the help of all that, he started University Science College. It took him 10 years. 1906 he entered. The Science College was started in 1916. When Ashutosh Mukherjee started the college, by then Meghnad Saha and Satyendranath Bose has just completed their MScs. So they said, MScs from different universities. They said, Ashutosh Mukherjee, we shall start MSc Physics or Applied Mathematics in University Science College. And then Mukherjee says, looking at these young boys, of course, my dear young boys, I can start, but who will teach? But Ashutosh Mukherjee says, the Saha and Bose says, sir, we are interested. These are the moments of science in India. Then Ashutosh Mukherjee gives them money and asks them to go to market and get the books required for teaching applied mathematics or MSc Physics course in University Science College. They were appointed as lecturers in 1916 itself. The next year, Raman entered the college as Polit Professor. P.C. Ray, a chemist, was the first Polit Professor in chemistry. So they were all colleagues, Saha, Bose, Raman, P.C. Ray. Each one is a gem. Each one have contributed for the development of science in India. Science, science education, scientific temper, all kind of things were developed in those years. So it is the year 1916 is also a very important, that period is very important with respect to world also. Because in 1900 we got Planck's theory, quantum theory, and 1905 photoelectric effect was discovered by, explained by Einstein, and special theory of relativity came in. 1916 is the year we got general theory of relativity. In between we got Bohr's atom model, and then we get Schrodinger equation, followed by we have Dirac's equation. This was the time where the entire universe, okay, we were able to see the universe with a new perspective. Till then, till 1900, it was only classical perspective that we had. After 1900, we were able to see universe by understanding it in various perspectives. Quantum mechanics developed. Not only that, Subramanya Chandrasekhar applied quantum mechanics to the stellar atmosphere. So what is happening in the stars were calculated sitting on the earth, and it came to be true. So that was the year where huge amount of scientific activity, especially in physics, was going on. At that time, India was also rising, looking at the west. So Saha and Bose is also important because the first English translation of general theory of relativity was done by Saha and Bose. That translation was limited to circulation in India, Bangladesh and few other countries. So they were not very well known to the Western world at that time, 1916 and 18. Later on they were well known. Saha has done quite a lot of work in the stellar atmosphere physics or astrophysics. Bose has done, as we know, Bose statistics. Okay, Bose-Einstein statistics, or the light quantum hypothesis. That is he discovers or he derives the Planck's law of radiation in an innovative way. I mean, he considers light as quantum particles. Okay. He does not consider its energy packet for true, but he considers as independent identical particles. By considering independent identical particle, by developing a new statistics, he makes his discovery of finding Planck's law in an innovative way. The same was sent to Einstein. Okay, Reverend Master, I have done this. If you find it is correct, you can publish in German magazine. After going through that article, Einstein was astonished, and he sees there is something new, and he translates it to German, from English to German, and it was published within 2 months. Within 2 months. So that was the importance of discovery of S.N. Bose. Later on, for the discovery of S.N. Bose, for the science, whatever he has discovered, there are more than 7 Nobel Prizes awarded. Not for Bose, but for other derivatives. So various aspects. I will come to that little later. Okay. So Ashutosh Mukherjee insisted that objective of university would be satisfied when it has offered students facilities to undertake research. And C.V. Raman realized importance of scientific publication alongside laboratory research. C.V. Raman had come to Calcutta in 1906 itself. He entered IACS in 1907. For 10 years, he was Accountant General doing as a job as Accountant General in the morning, and in the evening he was a scientist. It is a very interesting case. I will tell that at the time of IACS. The establishment of IACS and Physics Department at University Science College was instrumental in development of science in India. Together, these two were nucleation for the development of physics in India. Physics in particular became institutionalized. So till that time, it was individual oriented. Institutionalization means large number of scientists work for a cause and for a particular concept like that. Calcutta School of Physics was developed. Calcutta School of Physics is not a building. The group of scientists, a group of physicists working was considered as Calcutta School of Physics across the globe. Our scientists started publishing paper in the world-renowned magazines, journals, philosophical magazine, physical review, and such like magazines in Nature, and many more. So not one or two, hundreds of papers started going from India, and the West started recognizing there are first-rate scientists in this country. Okay. So this institutionalization led to getting a Nobel Prize in 1930 for C.V. Raman. Okay. The establishment of IACS and Physics Department at University Science College was instrumental in development of science in India. Okay. Now we shall learn a little bit about Asiatic Society. William Jones, a judge at Calcutta Supreme Court, established Asiatic Society in 1784. It was on January 14th. William Jones' father was known to Newton. William Jones was in the tradition of science institutionalization. He was in touch with what is there in the West, how the science is developing, how it can be developed. Okay. William Jones, while coming in his ship, he will make a list of 16 subjects: flora, fauna, natural other resources. So all that is available in the fabric of India. All these things I have to explore. That was his list. So after coming to India, his profession was judge, and his focus was on establishing Asiatic Society. He established it in 1784 in Calcutta, one courtroom. 30 amateur scientists, British amateur scientists were there in the program. Objectives of the Asiatic Society, if you read the objectives of the Asiatic Society, it is to discover all that is available in the fabric of India. That is written. The same rules and regulation it writes, Indians were not allowed. Even though it is not written in hand, it was not allowed. So there was no option for locals to know what is happening there. However, the Britishers were discussing, whatever they had discovered in different parts of the country. If you see 1784, it was the Mysore war was going on, and at the Madras there was few more wars, and they were capturing the land. At the same time, this excavation and other things was going on. So their idea was clear. What it is meaning here? Science helps for a particular administration to become strong. It is then and now also. That is why we must study science. Without science, I don't think a country can become stronger. Okay. Initially, Asiatic Society encouraged discussions among amateur European scientists. So they were discussing, they were taking all the knowledge from here and they were going to West, and the paper publication was done in Western journals. Later it developed in many folds and initiated many institutions. See, Asiatic Society was instrumental in establishing 24 organizations, 24. Geological Survey of India in 1850s, Zoological Survey of India in 1914s, Indian Photographic Society, and related to what I can say, weather stations, and related to that organization. In total, 24 organizations initiated from Asiatic Society. You can see the power of Asiatic Society, the nucleation and the capacity of the Asiatic Society. Its presence in India indirectly induced scientific activity among the native Indians. Okay, looking at that, we too started doing something. However, Indians were not allowed to society up to 1829. Okay. This is William Jones. Okay. Next we shall look into a contrast organization, that is Indian Association for Cultivation of Sciences. Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar, he was not a physicist or chemist or anything. He was a homeopathic doctor. His patients were some of the kings and other people. He established IACS in 1876 because Mahendralal Sarkar was a nationalist. He convincingly knew that without science we cannot progress. And science can happen, it should happen by ourselves. Otherwise, we may not be allowed to do what we want to do. So, he writes an article on the desirability of an institution for cultivation of sciences in one of the Calcutta Medical College journal. That is a very well-known article. For that article, there was a lot of positive response. He requests people to donate. The people started donating generously, starting from one ana, 2 ana. At that time we had anas. Okay. So whatever they can, they donated. Mahendralal Sarkar also donated all his fortune. And the Asiatic Society, Indian Association of Cultivation of Sciences was started in this building at Beau Bazaar Street in Calcutta. Presently we don't have this building, but it is for the same building Raman entered. Raman was going in front of this building every day to this office. So one fine day in 1907, Raman looks at the board, Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. He goes to office. While coming back, he stops his vehicle, that is a chariot, and he goes inside. There was a person called Ashutosh De. By then, Mahendralal Sarkar has passed away. Mahendralal Sarkar passed away in 1904. Raman enters in 1907. So Ashutosh De was there, and Raman says, your board says Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. I couldn't see anything here. What is going on here? He asked. Then Ashutosh De asks him, who are you? From where you have come? Then Raman explains, I have come from Madras. I am interested in pursuing science, but there is no opportunity, so I am pursuing accountant general's job. It is similar to IAS kind of job, accountant general's job. I love to do science, he says. By then, Raman had already published his article in Philosophical Magazine. When he was a student of BSc at your age, he has published, that is available in the internet, you can see. On diffraction, related to diffraction, he has published paper in Philosophical Magazine and other journals. So he was a proven by that time. And he says all that. Ashutosh Day, tears roll down for Ashutosh Day, and he says, we were looking for a person like you. You can do all that you want in this organization. He gives the key to Raman, and he says, you have freedom to come to the organization whenever you want. It is the historical moment of coming man and moment together. Raman will make, now onwards, will make a house just behind this IACS. So 9 to 5, he was an accountant general. Early morning, he was a scientist. After 5 o'clock, he was a scientist. That time, there was no limit for time. It could be midnight, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, whatever. It is there Raman started doing science. Objectives of IACS for cultivation of science among native Indians by Indians. This is very, very important. The establishment of IACS was not easy. In 1876, when the meeting took place for the establishment of IACS, in that big meeting, some people stood up and said, India is not ready for a scientific institution. We shall do an engineering college. Rajendra Lal Mitra, another noted person, he stood up and he said, if we wait, time will never come. We must see to it that time starts here. We must start a scientific institution and not the engineering college, because the engineering colleges are already present in the country. We must start this institution as a scientific institution wherein the science is done by natives only. That was a strong condition they put in when they established the organization. Okay. C.V. Raman entered in 1907. Dreams of Sarkar became a reality with the entry of C.V. Raman. Raman established research in different branches of physics. He started with the vibrations to start with, a musical instrument and a vibration. Later on they do viscosity, diffraction, interference, molecular scattering, etc. In 1928, he discovered a new type of secondary radiation, later called as Raman effect, and it culminated in Nobel Prize. This is a very interesting situation. The Raman and Krishnan, they were doing research. They started observing their results earlier itself. 1 year earlier, Ramanathan was doing research. So Ramanathan could see, Raman was influenced for this scattering. As everybody knows, when he was going on a sailing trip, in 1921, he goes to London. While sailing, looking at the blue color of the sky and looking at the Himalayas, opalescence of Himalayas, the blue tinge of Himalayas, then he realizes there is something. So after coming from England, he directly goes to his lab in Calcutta. What we have to see is dynamism of Raman. In 1900 and 1916, we did not have much of the planes, very fast trains. It was all narrow gauge. It used to take 3 days to go from Mumbai to Calcutta or Calcutta to Bangalore. So with this, Raman was traveling all across the country. That is what we have to realize, mobility matters. So Raman, after coming from London, he goes to Calcutta, he intensifies his research. It was on February 16th, Raman and Krishnan both observes the secondary radiation. As we know, Raman effect is due to molecular scattering, wherein we get in the scattered radiation, we will be having the fundamental parent line. another line of radiation lesser energy, another line of radiation greater energy. Lesser energy is explained very well, but greater energy is inconsistent with law of conservation of energy. That was properly explained by Raman. It is because Raman did the experiment, he also developed the theory. Raman got Nobel Prize very, very early, that is within 2 years. Raman, another thing we have to see is Raman, the moment he realizes that is an important discovery, the moment matters, capturing the time matters. Raman sends a small article, a new type of secondary radiation, to the Nature magazine by telegraph. Now the telegraph is not working with the internet and other things, it has become redundant. Recently we closed it. Raman sends it by telegraph. Telegraph is a coded language. With a dot and a line, they have to establish all kinds of permutation and combination and the words. So he sends it to Nature. Had Raman not sent it, he would have lost the recognition. Even the one Nobel Prize we would not have had it. So Raman sends a small one there, and he publishes a huge article, a detailed article in Indian magazine. Raman publishes it, he sends it February 16th and February 28th. Both the days he sends 2 articles, small articles, and it was published in Nature. By March 15, 16, there was more than 16 papers from Russians and other countries which published. If the Raman did not take that risk, or if the Raman did not have that consciousness of importance of publication as early as possible, he would have lost. So this is applicable to us also. Dear students, quickness matters a lot. Many things can be taken as inspiration from Raman. The one is that the announcement of the Raman effect or new type of secondary radiation was done in Bangalore on March 16 in 1928 in the Central College Hall. Raman was expecting Nobel Prize in 1928 itself because both theory and experiment was given. It was given to Richardson. In 1929, it went for somebody. In 1930, he was so sure of getting Nobel Prize, he books 2 tickets for Sweden. The Nobel Prize is given in Sweden. Much before the announcement, he knew that it comes to him. And people were laughing. Why you are so hurry and other things? Raman was right. Raman got Nobel Prize. That is not an issue. See, once the Nobel Prize announcement is made, you cannot reach Sweden immediately. You have to sail through. So Raman went to Sweden and received Nobel Prize. After receiving Nobel Prize, he cries. You know why? You may wonder why. So whenever Nobel Prize is given, whether the Olympic medal or the Nobel Prize, the national anthem will be played in that hall. When Raman received Nobel Prize, British national anthem was played. It made Raman emotional. I am receiving Nobel Prize. I don't have a flag of our own country. And he was a bit emotional about that issue. And the Nobel Prize Selection Committee says in giving Nobel Prize, the Nobel Prize is given to Raman for the discovery of the new type of radiation, which will be called as Raman effect now onwards. So what is the importance of Raman effect? Presently, Raman effect is used as a tool. Raman effect is the tool for the detection of diamond or various other molecules. The ultimate proof is through Raman effect. Today it is laser Raman spectroscopy. When Raman did, it was a natural light. We need to send concentrated one. Today we could do Raman effect experiment very easily. In colleges itself we could do, and it is considered as laser Raman spectroscopy. It is all pervasive now. Okay, Raman effect is a tool, is used as a tool. Similar to laser, similar to other, Raman effect is also used as a tool. Okay. This is the original paper that was present in the Nature. You can see at the bottom, a new type of secondary radiation. So the next page is there actually. I just took a cover page. Okay. So this is, you can see, it is in the March 31st, 1928. It is the Nature, page number 501. Publishing in Nature even today is a prestigious issue. Even today. That too a sole paper is furthermore. Now we shall briefly look into the origin of University Science College, which was instrumental in development of science in India. 1901, Lord Curzon reforms to transform universities. It met with protest actually, but later on it was accepted. 1904 we got the University Act. 1905 we had Bengal partition. That has emotionally disturbed quite a lot of people, including Satyendranath Bose. National education movement started. The national education movement splits into two fragments, Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 we had Gurudas Banerjee, Satish Chandra Mukherjee, Rabindranath Tagore, the strong nationalist, demanded renaissance of entire culture. So it resulted in National Council of Education. That resulted in Jadavpur University, and Raspberry Ghosh was leading in it. Group 2 was the moderate people, that is Tarkanath Pollitt, Neel Ratan Sarkar. They demanded introduction of scientific and technical courses. Indian Society for Promotion of Technical Education started. Basis for University Science College is the Indian Society for Promotion of Technical Education. Okay. Tarkanath Pollitt donated around 14 lakhs then. For 14 lakhs, entire Nagpur could have been purchased in the real estate sense for that time. Raspberry Ghosh donated around 10 lakhs to the Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University. With this, we started Pollitt Chair. The money was given to keep as deposit. From the interest, it should be given as salary to bigger professors. It is in this juncture, C.V. Raman, P.C. Ray were taken as Pollitt professors. It was not too huge a salary. How much it was? It was around 600, 700. Raman was already getting 1000 rupees salary and a huge bungalow by the government and many elderly people to look after him. He had a car, all the luxury he had. So when he was asked by Ashutosh Mukherjee to join University Science College, he takes a thought and he says, I will try 1 year doing both. If possible, I will see to it. Then the government doesn't permit. Then he resigns the government job and he comes to University Science College, where the salary was less and all other perks was not there. Salary was around 600 or 700. See what shows here? It shows commitment of Raman for science. He was committed. Rather, he could have said, no, that job is important for me, I am getting more, I could have stayed. So, built-in desire for Raman to do science. So, many people say many things about Raman, but only focus that we have to see is his commitment to science, his commitment to development of science, his commitment to development of science in various branches. It is not only molecular scattering. He established many branches and he induced talented physicists in that. He saw to it science culture, physics culture developed in India. So this is the story. Pollitt Professorship introduced at University Science College. C.V. Raman became the first Pollitt Professor in physics. There is an interesting story for this also. When Raman was invited to become a Pollitt Professor, one of the conditions to become a Pollitt Professor is you should have foreign experience. In 1916, Raman did not have a foreign experience. The committee requests Raman, we will sponsor, you can go and have few months or few years of foreign experience and you can come. Raman was very angry and he says, I can train the foreign scientists. I will not go. If you can give me like that, whatever I am, I will take up. So Raman was given the post by relaxing that condition of foreign experience. I went through the proceedings of the meetings of the University Science College. The very interesting things will come out from the proceedings. In one of the proceedings it says, Raman demanded that he will take the class optionally. Going to regular teaching classes was optional to him. He demands that and the committee accepts it. Sometimes it is necessary. See, because of acceptance, we could see some growth of science. So Raman could do that because he was already established. He was known across the country and by then he has not received Nobel Prize. But in the Western world, through his publication, he was known. In the country, he was known very well that he is a promising scientist. So these are all the intricate things in the history of science and physics in India. Here I have some statistics you can see. Number of published from India between 1901 and 1950, if you say, 1901 to 1905, there is only 29 papers. You see from after 1916, okay, after 1916 it is, see in 1916 it is further decreased. 1911 to 1915 is 85, 1916 to 20 decreased. You know why? It is because of Second World War. It is because of the Second World War. Okay, and then in 1921 to 25 it is 356, and again 31 to 35 is the Raman period, 36 to 40 is huge number of papers, 1 to 3, 9, 41 to 45 again decreased because of the Second World War. War had a major impact on publication. 46 to 50 again it started increasing. By then, by 1950s, Homi Bhabha started entering into the field. He started again expanding the research in a different dimension. 10-yearly communications and author productivity, if you see, 1901 to 10, there are 29 29 authors and number of papers 86. Mean paper per author is 2.96 and 3.77 is the highest, that is 21 to 30. That is where the science was in the peak period during the initial stages of the country. Okay. 41 to 50 again it is decreased because of the war and other things. Okay. Number of authors and publications in some core subjects and disciplines of modern physics. If we look into this, the acoustics was 105. Okay. Number of authors were 105, papers were 307, astrophysics and astronomy 585, spectroscopy obviously 1334 because the Raman was into the spectroscopy, more number of people were working in that. But you can see X-ray physics was also there, atomic and molecular physics was also there. The science was taking shape parallelly, but molecular spectroscopy was doing with a focus at a larger sense because of Raman. This is a very interesting photographs of University Science College. I visited University Science College about 2.5, 3 years ago. The first photo is the University Science College entrance. This is the Department of Applied Mathematics where Saha and Bose, Meghnad Saha and Bose entered as the lecturers. And here you have the Pollitt building where the Raman was made as a Pollitt professor. This is the campus. These are the instruments devised by S.N. Bose. They are still working. Satyendranath Bose this is the principal of the college, and Mukhopadhyaya is the one who introduced me to the entire college. So these are the laboratories. This is the chair where Raman, chair may be changed, but you can see the room and the position where Raman was sitting as a Pollitt professor. This is the building of University Science College. If you happen to visit Calcutta, please visit this historical college. It is more than 150 years old. Okay. Now, coming to a kind of conclusion, if you can say, evolution of physics in India was a process. This process was part of our struggle for freedom. Okay. Struggle for freedom for political sense is one, for education and science education is another. Evolution of physics education enabled Indian scientists to make world-class discoveries. We were on par with the rest of the world. This is considered as contribution of scientists to freedom movement. So with this, I thank Mr. Ganesh Jagdeesh who helped me in preparing the slides, and sources are various sources. I have taken a large number of references. It is a very brief presentation. It takes to give all the stories, it is like Mahabharata. There are a lot of small stories in between. I made it very brief to take you through the evolution of general education, then branched off to the physics education and the physics in particular, how it developed. So after 1930s, you all know we got independence and the University Grant Commission was established, a large number of laboratories were established, and many more things have happened. Presently, we are at the verge of national education policies. So my job was to to give you a glimpse of how was the initial phase, what was the difficulties, and how we were able to come out of those difficulties. With this, I would like to conclude my lecture. I thank the MOHOTA College for giving this opportunity once again. Thank you, Principal, Vice Principal, all the staff members, and my dear students. Now the session is open for question and answer.
Harshal.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, the present day, most of us only talk of a jobs having higher packages. The present generation has almost forgotten the contribution made by the Indian physicists even during the era of colonial rules. Dr. Kamala Madam has given us a detailed information about how science education was developed in India right from the times of East India Company. Their contribution to the world of physics is really noteworthy. Thank you so much, ma'am, for making us aware of such a valuable information about the contribution of Indian physics. Now, friends, the platform is open for the question and answer session.
Madam, I have one question.
Please. Switch on your
You
camera.
have very nicely commented about as to how, though many facilities of C.V. Raman were withdrawn, he did not deter much, and his commitment towards science and science education, science philosophy did not deter him. This is a lesson for the students, particularly who are, as Harshal has recently said,
Absolutely.
that yes, that we are only talking about packages.
Yes.
And the commitment is slowly vanishing. So what will be your message to my young students?
Yes, this is a very interesting question and a difficult question as well. Of course, if you compare to the Raman's period, even the Raman's period also, the employment was not easy, if you can see. In 1900s, employment was not easy. Even today, employment is not easy. Relatively, employment is easier today. You will get some kind of job. Okay.
Yes.
Some kind of job. Without influence, you will get. If you are capable of, you will get. Okay. So, but in between, it was not so. In spite of that, they were able to do science. It is because they knew the importance of science. That's it. They knew how science is important for a country, and they knew the pleasures of science. So what is happening today is many students, the bright one, the entry to BSc is in single digit in Karnataka. To my college, it has not crossed 15-20 for the BSc course. It is not the picture of my own college, it is the picture of the state. Out of 1.8 lakhs was the admission last year, not for the science, for the entire government colleges. This year it is 70,000. That is 33%. In that 33%, science is just 25%. Roughly 10,000 students have enrolled across the state. So this is a very alarming situation. That is because in a place like Bangalore, we have a lot of companies. They are getting job for BCom and BCA and other things they are going. However, this awareness has to be brought in the minds of the students. That is, if we do not study science now, we will not be having good science teachers for our own children in my next 10 years. We will not be having science teachers. We will not be having people to study MSc. Universities have to be closed. If there are 10 students, all 10 will get MSc seat. Even few more will be remaining. The universities will be closed. Imagine the situation we are going to face within 20 years. So who will give you the ultra-modern knowledge? You have to purchase. Even if you purchase, nobody will give you the most important one. They will retain for themselves. So correct. We will be dependent just like earlier days. So this has to be made sure, even if the salary is little less. See, you can do science, and allied thing has to be done for some income. See, data science is another thing where you are getting money. A person with physics and mathematics can go to data science. He will get the job. Let them study physics and maths. Why physics and maths? If he has interest in some subject, let him go to that subject, if he has soulful interest. If it doesn't know what to do, physics and maths is to be studied. Why physics and maths? If you study physics and maths, you can do any subject in the world.
Correct.
You can do any subject in the world because it develops your logic in brain. So, studying science, if we do not study science, our system will be collapsed. Vijay the advisor to Prime Minister, scientific advisor to Prime Minister, he says in his lecture, science education is a fulcrum for society. In order to uplift the society, a concept called science education has to be very strong. If the fulcrum is very strong, it will be destroyed. So you cannot uplift the society at all. So what is that fulcrum? Science education. Where is the science education? Starting from primary, middle, high school, college, there should be a strong base of science education, and all other things, let it be there. But it is pathetic. It is alarming. So these awareness lectures, my dear students, please inform this kind of information to high school students and others. Okay, they can get a job. Getting a job is not an issue even after doing BSc. Learning a little bit of computer is not difficult. You have Swayam portal where you have a lot of data science courses, a lot of other courses. By doing that and practicing, all that you need is a good computer at home. Okay, parallelly you can develop for job. But science is in its alarming state. So this is what I can tell students, that they have to realize and they have to take their heart's calling, what their heart says. So if science is their heart, they should go. Money may be little less. Yes.
I agree.
Money will be little less. If it is okay, then it is okay. Otherwise, don't grumble.
Correct.
Yes.
Any other question?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Please.
Ma'am, we see in these 2 years, there is drastic change in IT sector, and also in India we made a vaccine. So there is a big change in biochemistry also. But in these 2 years, society does not see the big change in physics research. So how we have see towards the physics research?
It's a very good question. How do you conclusively say there is not a big development in the physics research? See, if you take the world, whichever the ongoing projects across the globe, if you take, Indians are in very important positions doing good science. I would like to give 1 or 2 examples. You take Large Hadron Collider project, our scientist Rohini Godbole Madam ji is there, along with her many more scientists are working. Okay, if you say, just a minute, okay. That is there. And if you come to International Center for Theoretical Physics in Bangalore and also the other centers, they were involved in developing algorithms for gravitational wave discovery. Gravitational wave discovery is not a single man discovery, it is a global discovery. It is a multi-country, multi-challenging and collaborative discovery for which Indians have associated. Not only that, once the neutron stars collided, it was, we got the gravitational waves. Along with the gravitational waves, we got the visual light also, called multi-messenger astronomy. Multi-messenger astronomy, we were also part of multi-messenger astronomy. The only thing what is happening here is, the students who are at the undergraduate level or +2 level, you are not coming across that. It is not you are not coming across, you are not looking at the newses pertaining to these things. These things, what I am saying, they were in the newspaper or first level science journals. So now the things are available in the mobile. You can see Nature magazine, you can see Scientific American, all that in the click of the button. If you just browse, I am saying browsing, if you just browse, you will come to know. The only thing is, we may not be getting Nobel Prize. Getting Nobel Prize is altogether a different issue. C.V. Raman got Nobel Prize at that time, 1930. He was nominated by 10 people. Nobel Prize is by nomination. And it demands, see, it is very difficult to get Nobel Prize because to get Nobel Prize, the discovery should be order of Large Hadron Collider. We do not have that setup. The Large Hadron Collider is in Switzerland. And 200 scientists are there. So naturally the leader will get. If you go to gravitational waves, the systems are in America. Two systems are in America, Richland and other place, and one in Europe. Of course, the leaders will get. But the gravitational wave paper is written by 2000 authors. Keep it in mind. In that 2000 authors, many are Indians. If you just see that original paper, the eighth reference, if you see the references, the eighth or earlier one, reference is by Indian, that is C.V. Vishweshwara. C.V. Vishweshwara is the person who gave the theory of black holes. That was a leading for one of the lead for the discovery of the gravitational waves. So C.V. Vishweshwara's paper is quoted in the first few papers. You have to simply see these things. Gravitational wave paper which got the Nobel Prize is available in the internet free of cost. It is very simple, you can go through. So it is not that Indians are not doing discovery, they are doing. Probably India as a country to do, the amount of investment the country has to make is very difficult. Not just for India, even for America or Europe, because dimensions of science has changed. I asked this question to Nobel laureate in Bangalore. It is not it is not just that. After your discovery and writing the theory, publication is very costly. Nowadays, to publish a paper, you have to give $1,000, $600 like that. That means 60,000, 70,000 rupees. So I asked the Nobel laureate, the very Nobel Prize is totally driven in a different direction. And natural researchers will lose. And he accepted. That is the way it is going. Okay, so getting Nobel Prize is, it is not everything. If you ask Subramanya Chandrasekhar, who got Nobel Prize from America, he was saying Nobel Prize is not ultimate. You can be above Nobel Prize. India did not get many Nobel Prize, doesn't matter. But our scientists are present in most of the top-notch projects that are going on, whether it is physics or biophysics, or there is a new physics called, what I can say, mechanophysics. Okay, mechanophysics, one of the leading scientists, Mr. G.V. Shivshankar, who was in NCBS, later at Singapore University, now in Switzerland, is the world number 2. He is Indian. Probably we need to take inspirations from them. Okay, but it is not in newspapers and other things. It does not mean we are not doing good science. We are doing. For our country, the investment in science is 0.85% of the GDP. Because it is 0.85%, it is difficult to do something big. If you see the so-called developed countries, the America or the other countries where they go up to beyond 2.5, 2.6, South Korea, North Korea also invests around 4% of their GDP. America is around, I did not bring that slide, 2.85%. We are 0.85%. Pakistan is little less. So we stand somewhere very, very low in the bottom. So if you see the developed and the developing countries, many factors come in picture. The one is the amount we spend. The quantity we are spending is huge. We are number 5 or 6 as far as the quantity of money is spent. But per capita when we take, it is very less. So many things are there when it comes to science. The only thing is, the first and foremost is the science education. The second is the amount we invest. Okay, thank you. Next question, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Please.
Earlier you said that about the IISc Bangalore. So can you please let us know how IISc Bangalore was born?
That is a very interesting question. IISc you are asking? I said about ICTS, not the IISc. When I said multi-messenger astronomy and other things, gravitational waves, it was ICTS, International Center for Theoretical Sciences. That recently it is just about 10 or 15 years old. IISc is important institution. Indian Institute of Science was born in 1903 or 4. Across the country, there was a need for scientific institution. The British government and Tatas, okay, you may know Tatas, you must have heard of Ratan Tata, Jamshedji Tata, Nasirwalji Tata. They were in talking terms and they said we must start a very huge scientific institution on par with the rest of the world. Of course, it was guided by Britishers. That's why I didn't talk much of this one. The directors for IISc were Britishers, all those things. However, its establishment has a story. When they wanted to establish, the commission was sent to look into the places and other things. Ramsay was one of the committee member. Ramsay visited various places, and Ramsay was asked by the Ranchi people, Ranchi government, to start the institution in Ranchi. But Mysore king, Nalvadi Krishnaraju Vadiyar, he writes a letter to the committee and the British stating he is willing to give roughly around 1,000 acres of land. It is the same Mysuru kings, they gave land for C.V. Raman also to establish Raman Research Institute. And they write a letter not only giving land, we will also give annual grants. So that is how a huge amount of money was given from state of Karnataka. The kings were visionaries. They wanted science to happen. It is not just Karnataka or other thing. So they convinced that institution is needed. On one side there was Tata, on other side there was Nalvadi Krishnaraj Vadiyar, and the institution was established in 1903 and 4. Later on, many departments were established, and most of the departments had Britishers as the head. The next important story is when the chair for the physics department was vacant, they were looking for a new professor and a director for Indian Institute of Science. Letter went to Rutherford and other people asking for nomination. Then Rutherford and other people says, there is C.V. Raman in India, why do you want another person? Please appoint him. That is how Raman became the first Indian director for Indian Institute of Science. He comes from Calcutta to Indian Institute of Science around 1934, if I am not wrong, around 1934. And after coming here, he started establishing various departments and stabilizing it. Of course, there will be politics everywhere. There was politics for Raman also. And Raman eventually left IISc and he started Raman Research Institute, which is doing a wonderful job even today. It is involved in gravitational wave, molecular spectroscopy. If you happen to visit to Bangalore, please make a visit to Raman Research Library, Raman Research Institute, where you have a museum, all the collections of Raman, various crystals and other things. They will show it passionately. One of the beautiful library you have. So this is how the science happened in India, IISc happened in India, and story goes on and on. Hope I answered your question. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Bangalore is called a science city because the nucleation is Indian Institute of Science, and on one side is the Indian Institute of Science, on other side is the Mysore Kings, Nalvadi Krishnaraj Vadiyar. They started the first electricity plant in Asia, that is near Mysore. They started sandalwood oil extraction factory. They started sandalwood soap making factory. They started bulb making factories. So many industries started in Bangalore with the vision of Nalvadi Krishnaraj Vadiyar, the Mysore Kings. So on one side Indian Institute of Science, on other side industries, together it bloomed as a science city. That's why we need visionaries. We need people who could make science, people like us who will sit in the laboratory, teach or do science, and at the same time you need visionaries who can invest for you.
Correct.
Looking at your potential, that happens. So that happened in Bangalore. It also happened in India in Nehruvian period. Science saw a peak in 1930s and 40s and also after 1950s. That is because of, if I say that I should not be arrested, Jawaharlal Nehru was a visionary as far as science is considered. He had relations with the scientist. Meghnad Saha was a close friend of Jawaharlal Nehru. Later they had difference of opinion. Saha came out of his team. However, Vikram Sarabhai was a close associate of Nehru. Homi Bhabha was a close associate of Nehru. They were not only scientists, they were visionary scientists, Vikram Sarabhai and Homi Jahangir Bhabha. Because they were visionaries and also hardcore scientists, they were able to convince the administration. so that the administration can invest for the country. So here I always keep telling politicians, scientists should have a rapport with the politicians. Whenever I
Yes.
get opportunity to have a rapport, I will have a rapport with the scientist, politician. At least it should fall on their ears. Otherwise, it will always be real estate. Okay,
Correct.
scientists, the politicians should be told this is happening. Who has to say? Scientists have to say. Scientists find it difficult to develop rapport with the politicians for various reasons. But
Very correct, ma'am.
most important is the rapport.
Yes, ma'am. Very correct.
Okay, this is what I can say. Okay, next question, please, if you have.
I hope the questions are over almost.
Okay, then we can inaugurate the association.
Yes.
Okay.
Harshal, you can take over.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I now request Dr. Kamala Madam to declare the Physics Society of the year 2022 to 23.
Thank you. I am extremely happy to declare the Physics Society of the college for the year 22-23 is declared open. Miss Dhanashri Shastakar as the president, Mr. Harshad Boyar secretary, Mr. Deepak Prasad member, Miss Manasi Dalvi member, Miss Rutika Bandarkar member, Mr. Tushar Deshmukh member, Miss Rudali Meshram member. I wish all the best, and I wish you will take spirit of today's lecture to various places, and you will influence the people to do science, especially physics. I would like to know activities of this association.
Surely we will convey all the activities which happen throughout the year to you, madam.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm happy for two reasons. One is you started an association. Another is students are willing to come on Sundays. Dear students, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I will request my friend Deepak Prasad to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Arshal. On behalf of Physics Society, I, Deepak Prasad, extend the vote of thanks to all of who have made this inauguration function a great success. At the outset, I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. Mrs. Y.C. Kamala Madam, for taking her precious time out of her busy schedule, making her available even on Sunday. Madam, indeed your words inspired us, and you have given us a lot of information about contribution of Indian scientists in modern day physics. I also thankful to our principal, Dr. Jivan Dontulwar sir, our vice principal, Dr. Mrs. Saha Madam, our physics head of department, Dr. J.N. Ramteke sir, who always motivate us to carry out such a good academic activities. I would like to thank our teacher in charge, Dr. V.V. Soman sir, for the continuous guidance and support. I will also thank our other members, all teaching and non-teaching staffs. Now, last but not the least, I thank all my student friends for showing their interest in the program. Thank you everyone once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam, so much. Thank you so much, madam.